it's a EGGJA.
You know, it's like it's a pattern too, because it's the same kind of thing applied to in the Americas. Like, oh, we had to conquer them; they were savages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the exact vibe I'm getting from this, man. It's like insulting. Right. I just don't like it. But again, it's just my emotionalism. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I could be.
We love their farming and their medicine, though, but everything else got to go.
So this one is allegedly dated
Eggja
from
stone.
Yeah, 600 to 700 in the Common Era. Is found in Norway. But again, guess what date it was plowed up in? 1917. I mean, just nothing's noticed until, recently. It's just one after another. My grandfather was alive during this time. It's like, and it doesn't have again, it just looks crude. Like letters had already changed by the time they were using this. Like this would be so much more believable if they're like, no, this is from like Neolithic or some shit, like just like way older to kind of maybe correspond to like the stuff in Britain, like those what do they call, like the dolmens and stuff, that and like all these crazy megalithic things that they say is like from 5000 BC or whatever. That would make this impressive. But in the 7th and 8th century, and this is the best, I don't believe it for a second, but that's me. So one if it's legit, two if it could be faked. If it could be, doesn't mean it's fake, just if it could be.
I do find it in okay. So in the inscription here, it's here's the offered translation. It is not touched by the sun, and the stone is not scored by an iron knife. No man may lay it bare. When the waning moon runs, misguided men may not lay the stone aside. And the man
that actually enlightens the world.
Yeah, this has actually got a cool carving, right? The man sprinkled this stone with corpse sea blood, I guess. When with it he rubbed the tholes of the well-drilled boat. As who came, the army god hither onto the land of warriors. A fish swimming out of the terrible stream, a bird screaming into the enemy band. So
the fish
it is interesting that this is stained with blood, and that the god of armies, Heras, is referred to. They're saying it's a psychopomp god, as in an early form of Odin. To me, Heras is not a god name; it's a title. Then again, a lot of the names given for gods are really more of a title. The staining it with blood, though, I find that interesting because I was just reading in the Sanchuniathon, or Eusebius's game of telephone that they call the Sanchuniathon, the Phoenician cosmogony. I mentioned this earlier in the stream, quite a bit earlier in the stream, but there's a character in the Sanchuniathon called Usuus, or like Osuus. It's basically, it sounds a lot like Jesus without a J, like an early form
sounds
of Jesus.
Sounds like Isis, yeah.
And
yeah, Isis. Or too. Actually, it most reminds me of Esau, like Jacob and Esau from the Old Testament, especially because he teaches people how to wear clothing, and he wears animal skins as clothing. So, presumably he's like hairy or furry because he's wearing furs, which is how Esau is described. And his name is like Esau, Esauus or something like that. And part of his mythology is that he erects two pillars. He erects a pillar to fire and a pillar to wind, and then pours the blood of wild animals on it. So, here we have an example of like a stone with blood being poured on it. And it's got some sort of, dedication.
I like that word, corpsey. That's a really poetic word to describe blood.
Yeah, I like that about the whole literary tradition of what's passed down to us from the Norse is cool. There's a lot of, it's very poetic. There's a lot like that whole concept of kenning. The ways they do their type of allegories is great. Like that.